All right, friends. Hey, welcome to the webinar here for Producer. We're going to learn the ins and outs of using Producer in your broadcasts, and I'm so excited to be here. So let me introduce myself first of all. My name is Gary Buchanan. I'm the Professional Services Manager here at BoxCast. That's really just a fancy way of saying I love to help people learn how to live stream and to live stream better. And I'm going to teach you how to do that with using Producer. But a few things about me. I am a church and media pastor in my current church in Columbus, Ohio. I'm also a consultant with Cleveland Video Company. If you're not familiar with that, that's okay. But the two gentlemen that usually do this, Josh and Wade, they own their own company called Cleveland Video Company, and so I help consult on that. I'm also a huge Star Wars nerd. This summer, I actually got to build my first lightsaber at Galaxy's Edge. I'm very proud of it. It's kind of a dark side saber with a light side hilt. But enough about me. Let's jump into some information here. Let's talk about our agenda today, right? I'd like to walk you through, do a complete walkthrough of Producer and how it's used. I would like to show you a little bit about the gear that we have set up and how that would work. We're going to go from a simple setup to a little more of an advanced setup. I'd like to show you some pieces to that. I'd also like to show you how we're going to set up Producer, give you the layout and the configurations. I'm going to show you some of the features, such as our overlays, as well as our screen sharing, our viewer chat, and of course, as always, I want to engage with you. I'd like to take your questions. And we have some amazing moderators today who will help us out. So if you have anything you want to do, drop that in the chat. If you're not familiar with BoxCast, first time watching, or you are familiar and you haven't jumped into a free trial, please do so. Go to our website, boxcast.com. We offer a free 14-day trial of our experience plan. You'll be able to jump in and see all these features and more. There's no credit card required. You can start streaming instantly, and we'll put a link in the description as well as in the comments below. If you're looking for some more resources, I'm all about resources. So we have a nice help article that we'll drop the link in the chat here. That's also how to use Producer. It's got a nice video and it will give you a step-by-step walkthrough on how to do so. You can also check out some of the gear that we use on our kit.co/boxcast page. We'll drop that link in the comments as well. If you'd like to stay up to date with what BoxCast is doing, become part of our community by signing up for our community newsletter called The Block. And don't forget, we launched the BoxCast Academy. We are introducing new courses as much as possible, as soon as possible, and we'd love for you to jump into the Academy and learn how to become a great broadcaster more quickly. All right. Again, we want to hear these questions. I want to engage with you. Again, our moderators are waiting, so if you have anything, drop it right in. They're more than happy to answer. All right. With that, let's dive right in to Producer. Okay. So here is our Producer dashboard. This is our BoxCast dashboard. This is how we're going to go into Producer. And we can get into Producer in a couple of different ways. Inside of our upcoming broadcasts area, you'll see that we offer the ability to use Producer straight away in the system. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and click into that right now. So we're going to click into Producer, and it's going to load the Producer dashboard for us. Now, from here, you're going to be prompted by the browser to allow permissions for your camera and for your microphone. We got to give permissions so we can see and hear everything. So we're going to go up here and we're going to say allow. And as soon as that happens, Producer opens up and gives us the nice, beautiful picture that we see currently from our camera. All right, so what kind of things are we using right now on our camera? Well, let's cut to that so you can see that. So right now here in our setup, I have our Sony ZV-E10. This is a nice little webcam kind of point shoot camera. It's really nice. I love that it's white. It's really cool looking. And that's connected via USB down into our laptop. And then we're using an MV7 microphone on the side, which is also an external system microphone going into our computer. Now, I will say this. Let me preface this. Producer was designed around the ability for you to go live and stream directly from your web browser without having any external sources or equipment. Okay? So if you plan on just using your webcam or the microphone for maybe a pair of AirPods or a headphone or headset, perfectly okay. That's really what the Producer web browser was designed for. But if you want to expand that reach, you can totally do it with some of the external tools. If you want to go even further and say maybe use an ATEM video switcher to bring in multiple camera angles, then you're going to want to make sure you pick up one of these. This is a Magewell Gen 2 video capture card, and this is a Elgato HD60 video capture card. And so what this is going to do is it's going to help you bring in an external video switcher via HDMI into USB into your computer, which will give you the multiple camera expansions that you need. But again, you don't need any heavy lifting hardware such as like an encoder or an RTMP software to do so. You can do it right through the browser. Okay? All right, well, let's get right into the actual system setup here. All right. So inside of Producer, this is the main home screen area of Producer. And from this point, we're going to be able to do configurations on our video and our audio. We're going to be able to turn things on and off. We're going to be able to set up some things. So let's just dive into what it looks like. So right now, we don't have a broadcast scheduled, and we will. We'll set up a broadcast here just a moment. But you'll see that we're currently in preview mode, and we were going to shoot 1080p, and of course, our broadcast is looking to be public at the moment. We have our controls. We have AV. We have graphics. And we have chat, so we can actually control all of our audio video sources, configurations, our graphic overlays, which we'll get into in a second, and our chat, so we can actually engage our viewers as we're using Producer. Below that, you'll see the configurations for the screen, and of course, we can change a few things in our layout, and of course, we have our media sources, and we'll get into these in just a second, but I want to give you the lay of the land. At the bottom of the screen, you're going to see here below the video player, we have the ability to control this in a quick setting. So we can do screen share, we can mute our microphone, and we can actually turn off our camera fairly easily below. But right now, let's go ahead and schedule a broadcast so we can see what the production looks like as we're doing it live. So here we're going to click on Schedule Broadcast. If you have ever used the Boxcast Dashboard, this is entirely the same process. There is nothing new about this except the fact that it's within Producer. So right now, we're going to go over here to broadcast name, and let's add that name, and we'll call it Puppy Time. We're going to produce a sort of a dog show. We can add a description, and we can set the broadcast to either be now or in the future. The cool thing about using Producer is that we can actually use Producer now, going live very quickly, or we can set it for the future broadcast if we wish by setting a date and time. So we're going to go ahead and just set it now. We're going to leave it for 30 minutes. And then we can actually then add a preview image to our broadcast. And that will bring up the ability to add it from your computer. Or we can select a previous upload from down here at the bottom. Okay? We'll use this one. When we're ready to continue, we'll say next. From here, the dashboard gives us the ability to go ahead and set our visibility from public, private, ticketing if you were having a ticketing on your account. We can drop it into a channel. We can add password protection or some embed restrictions if your account allows you to do so. But we'll go ahead and click next. Here's the destinations area. This is an important one because we do want to set destinations to maybe Facebook or YouTube, Twitter, or some type of other RTMP source such as Twitch. We're not going to do that today just for the demonstration, but you do have the ability to set those all up in your integrations area, in your settings area on the Boxcast dashboard. We'll hit next. From here, we could change the visibility if we were podcasting, and this is a great tool to use for podcasting, by the way. So Producer is an amazing set tool to be able to do anything you want to do in a show base, and we can set those visibilities and channels right here in the actual Producer system. We'll click Next. This is some advanced features that we have available. If you have these in your account, you're more than welcome to use them. One of them that you should have is Enable Live Only, where it's just making the broadcast live. There's no pre-recorded media afterwards. And then if you have captions available on your account, you can enable those as well. All right, let's do it. We're going to go live. There you go. So Producer notifies us when the broadcast has been saved correctly and successfully scheduled. And now what you'll see is that we are live and in charge here on the Producer side. So starting at the top here, just give you some highlights about what this does. When you hover your mouse over this live icon, it'll tell you the signal strength and how well your broadcast is doing. For example, you can see right now that we've got minimal packet loss and we're streaming at a really good bit rate. So that's excellent. So if you have any questions about that, you'll see that. But later, after we do the broadcast, I'll show you in Diagnostics where that'll live. You can see how long the runtime is currently. On the far right side, you'll see that we have this nice little Boxcast icon, and you'll see some viewer numbers that can pop up here. That's what the I means. If you click on that, this gives you the ability to see your boxcast.tv link, as well as change the visibility, make copy of that link, and of course, add destinations post-scheduling the broadcast. Again, those destinations would be like Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, that kind of thing. And again, we still have all those controls at the bottom down here, and if we wanted to edit this very quickly, all we do have to do is click Edit. All right, so that's the configuration area here. But again, on the right side, we can then change the way our screens are set up and how our media sources are actually being presented inside of Producer. I'm fairly particular the one we're currently on right now, which is adding a border, but if we change that, we can go full screen with the image. We can do a medium border, or we can do a deep border. We can even change the color. Now, I'm kind of partial to this blue, so we'll add that blue to the background, and we'll go back to the medium that I like. Under media sources, we have the ability to go ahead and hide individual items, such as our video, and again, it just shows the background. But you'll see here later why this is important for adding different contextual things like screen share. Okay. Now, I will preface this so everyone knows that using Producer is best used in Chrome browsers or a Chromium-based browser. That would be something like Brave, okay? So make sure that if you're using Producer, Chrome would be the best option for you. It does work in Safari and in Firefox, but it does work a little bit better in Chrome. All right. Let's take a look at some of the cool features that we have to offer inside of Producer. Overlays is a really great way to brand your broadcast as well as give some context with images and information that you wouldn't normally have on a regular just straight up broadcast. So here in our graphics area with overlays, we're going to add a few graphics and kind of bring our brand into place. We're doing, as the title describes, puppy time. So this is a dog show of some sort. And I'm going to use those graphics. Now, like always, in overlay systems, you are more than able to go ahead and upload a graphic or drag and drop from a secondary screen right into Producer, and it'll load that into the media uploads area. We've gone ahead and added a few of our own already. So I kind of like to add a logo. So let's add this logo here. And when we click add, it brings it into the canvas area of our broadcast so we can manipulate it. We can click on that image, and we can resize it very easily using the anchor at the bottom. So I'm gonna bring this and probably just resize it pretty small so we can move it. Now we'll click on it and drag it to where we want it, and I'm gonna throw it right on over here to the bottom right corner. Now, this is not visible to viewers currently, so we do have to apply those changes. So as soon as we click apply, that image now becomes available on our broadcast. You will see it in real time. Your viewers will see it with the expected delay that's automatically baked into every broadcast. We can add multiple images if we wanted to. So let's say we wanted to go ahead and add maybe some biscuits. Again, go in, we can readjust the size on these. I think I'm gonna make these a little bit smaller than the last thing, and I'm gonna move those down here to the bottom quarter. I give this 4.5 treats. We're gonna add apply changes. And there we go, our graphics are added. We can actually remove these graphics very easily by either removing them all at once or removing them individually. If we choose to remove them all at once, we can go here to this toggle of show all selected overlays and click it. And now all those overlays disappear and they fade out with a nice transition. Of course, we can always re-add them. If you wanted to remove that graphic overlay or that image individually, we would just hover over the image we have added and click remove. And now that image is gone. We'll do it one more time. Let's say we have some information that we want to add into the actual broadcast. So let's add a lower third with a color texture so that way we can provide some information about what's going on. Down at the bottom is the lower thirds area, and we can choose the color of that lower third, which creates a block of color image, and then our text will be inlaid inside of it. I actually kind of liked this orange the last time I was playing around with this, so we'll use that orange. And now we'll click Add Overlay, and we can add title. So maybe this would be information about what we're doing recently or an upcoming show. So, you know, so we can make the first title the main information, and the bottom optional title is kind of like that sub info. So let's add something interesting there. All right, so now that we have all of our text added and ready to go, we can click this toggle that says show on save. And basically what that's gonna do is that as soon as we hit the save button, it'll immediately put it into our broadcast. Or we can just hit save, and now it's available for when we wanna add it. So let's say we have our graphics added. We'll do that again. And we wanna go ahead and add our overlay now. At this point, all we have to do is go over here and click the toggle button. And there it is. If we need to adjust anything, say we need to make an edit to that information, we can click on the edit, the three dots, and then click edit and make our adjustments. Again, clicking save makes it available to add, and then all we have to do is click the toggle to add it. All right, that's overlays. Let's go on and to show you how screen shares work. So I'm going to jump back into our AV settings on the producer side. And at the very bottom of this is the screen share button. We're going to click screen share. And what this is going to do is going to bring up a little notice that tells us that we recommend having a secondary monitor connected to your computer when screen sharing. And it's only because we want to make sure that you maintain high video and high audio quality. This will also allow you to see what you're doing in the screen share, so that way you can stream and still show your screen share at the same time. You can dismiss that if you wish, but we'll click OK. And now the browser is going to ask us, what do we want to show? So we can see the entire screen, we can choose the entire window, or we can choose a tab. I'm going to go ahead and choose a tab, and I pulled up some dog image website here that I'd like to jump to. So once we choose that, we can click share, and now it takes us right to that. So the browser is actually doing this. The browser is going to move us to that specific tab that we're working with. But don't be afraid. Producer's dashboard is still open. We'll just go up to the tab where it says dashboard, click that, and now we're back inside. And as you can see, it's gone ahead and added all of our two screens and our graphics, and it's put them in the configuration that we've selected. So now we do go up to the top here, screen configuration, we can change the way that that layout is presented. I actually am partial to the side-by-side. I like that. But maybe you wanted to have a small right screen of you and you wanted to have a larger screen share at the bottom. Or maybe you wanted to present the entire screen share with a video on the top right, left, bottom corners, right? You could do that. And again, we could also still go back in, do the border, and even change the color again to something different on the border. All of this is customizable at that point. Down here in the media sources area, we have the ability to actually toggle all of this on or off. So if we're in the middle of talking or doing a production, we don't necessarily need screen share to be shown. We can toggle the button and the screen share screen is disappeared, it's hidden. Likewise, we can bring it back and go ahead and turn the camera off. And the screen share and the video images automatically convert to whatever it was that we pre-selected in configurations. And of course, we can always make that bigger or smaller if we wish and add in our video again. All right, that's screen share. The last place that I want to show you is our viewer chat. Now, we introduced viewer chat last year, and it's been a big hit, and we know that you love it, and we know that all of our users enjoy it. And in here in viewer chat, we'll have the ability to be able to engage our viewers. The same parameters with viewer chat on the Boxcast Dashboard work inside of Producer. So as you see right now in my account, I am the current moderator, and I'm going to go ahead and reach out to our viewers. And we'll go ahead and send that. And now we're going to get some viewers chatting in. Banjo the Bulldog says, "Hi, Gary." Hello, Banjo. This is an excellent way to be able to communicate with your audience as you're live streaming, so you can see information from them and engage them pretty easily. Okay, so that's been viewer chat. All right, that has been a major overview of Producer, and I hope that you guys have gotten some really good information. So let's go ahead and end this broadcast, and I'll show you the additional tools that are available to you after the broadcast has ended. So we'll go over down here to end broadcast. The system's going to ask us if we want to end it. We're going to say yes. We're going to end that broadcast, and now we're taking into our past broadcast inside of our Boxcast Dashboard. From here, it's business as usual. Everything that you would have available to you after the broadcast is processed will be available in your past broadcasts. Anything that you would have normally on your account, such as trim overlays, edit a highlight clip, download or export, that's all going to be available to you right there. You can then, again, also see your diagnostics, checking out what diagnostics and how your bit rates were flowing. You can see all of your analytics of viewers that would be viewing. And of course, you can go in and check out your viewer chats. So with the BoxCast Producer platform, it's really easy to go live. It's really easy to make sure that you're able to engage your content and provide your branding that you needed with graphic overlays. So right now, let's take some questions. Okay, we got questions coming up. We're going to go a little more informal here. Yep, I'm working on it, my friends. They're all telling me to go to our messaging system if I can get there. All right, where are we at here? There we go. Yeah, okay. So I'm just going to go down the line and we'll answer these as we go. So the first question I got here is, how is Producer different from the Broadcaster app? That's a great question. Producer is not made to be on the go. It's not a mobile version of our broadcast platform. Broadcaster is, and it's made for you to be able to stream anywhere that you have an internet connection and your mobile device using iOS. So that's mainly the big difference, that the Broadcaster app is 100% an on-the-go mobile device system, where Producer is made for you to be able to stream directly from your browser. Can you do multiple camera setup in Producer? Yes, you can, using, again, a video capture device of some sort and say an A10 Mini or a small HD switcher of some sort to go in through the capture card. You can totally do that. As long as Producer recognizes that you're using the capture card, it'll pick up that feed directly inside. So Karen S. asks, can I use Producer for free today? Karen, absolutely. If you sign up for our trial right now through boxcast.com, you can use Producer for free right now inside of the trial, and it's available to you at that moment. Absolutely. Great question. Can I create a podcast in Producer? Absolutely. That's actually one of the things that we were considering when designing Producer, was so that you would be able to produce any kind of live video show or content show like a podcast. And then with our backend tools, such as our channels and podcast RSS feeds, you'll be able to manage those as well as be able to produce those out on a weekly, daily, or whatever interval basis you were thinking of. So Ian from Iowa says, what programs should I use to create custom graphics for overlays? That's an excellent question. Okay, so you could use almost any graphic editor, Illustrator, Photoshop. Free version would be called GIMP. There's a bunch of other ones out there that you could use, like I think one's called Infinity. You can use anything that would be able to create overlays in a PNG format. So remember, PNG will have transparency behind that. So you just want to make sure it's just PNG and it's got transparency if you're using it like a lower third, or it's an image file such as a graphic like a logo. Okay, but you can use almost any graphics editor to do that. Free, in my opinion, is always better just because it's free. But feel free to use something like Adobe, Photoshop, maybe Photoshop CC or Express, and just save that as a PNG file. Okay, I've got a good question here. What's the best mics to use with Producer? Well, that's kind of an objective question, isn't it? I'm partial to the Shure microphones. I really am partial to Shure microphones. I have a background in audio reinforcement. I love the Shure microphones. The MV7 is actually probably my favorite right now. I've used Roadcasters before. I've also used Audio Technicas and Sennheiser microphones. But I like the MV7 because it's really easy to use. It's a simple plug and play. It's got a minimal software, and it's got really good audio quality. So I think an MV7 would be the best option if you're going to go with one. And they're not fairly too expensive. So, and again, if you have any questions, please drop them into the comments below. We'd love to be able to talk with you more about anything. I'm just waiting for a question. But let's see. Oh, here we go. Here's one. How do I make sure my lighting works for Producer without causing glare? I have that problem with my Zoom calls. Don't we all have that problem? Don't we all have that problem? I even have it. I'm wearing glasses. So that's a great question. It's a little more outside of the Producer world, but I'm glad you introduced it into the Producer question. Lighting is a tricky subject, okay? Obviously, you need it to be able to see things. So positioning your lighting at a specific angle, both to the subject, above, into the side of the subject will help reduce glare. Usually, if you ask Josh, it's more of just pick the light up and move it until you see the glare go away. That's usually what he does. I'm more of I like a 45-ish degree angle down on my glasses so it disappears, and that it's not directly at my face but to the side, creating shadow and dimension on my face. So I hope that answered the question for that. Here's another one. How do I find my previous streams? That's an excellent question. So let's jump over to the Boxcast Dashboard real quick, and I'll show you how to do that. So here in the Boxcast Dashboard, if you have a current broadcast, which obviously we're live streaming this now, you'll see current broadcast. If you have upcoming broadcasts, anything that you scheduled for the future will also be here. And then past broadcast. This is where our broadcast is going to live after it's been streamed. So we can click on past broadcasts. As you can see here, we've got a ton of them. And then right here is our broadcast that we had for Puppy Time, our show. And then you can click into that, and it'll give you all the tools that are necessary and provided to you with the Boxcast Dashboard in order to manipulate, change, or see data and information. All right, I hope that answered that question. Okay. I think we're good. All right. Well, listen, friends, it's been an honor and a privilege to be with you today. I'd like to thank you for watching. Please visit our website, give a free trial if you're interested in looking at Producer for yourself. And if you have any questions, comments, or feedback, please, by all means, drop them in the comments after the video. We're more than happy to answer. Now, again, I'm Gary with BoxCast, and happy streaming.